Here. Public comment? Hearing none. Administration and Finance, Environment, Distinguished
Gender policies and personal policy manual update. Correct. The first item is distinguished agency, and that itself is 4 items. Environmental policy review, closed session update, and I believe first you
So, in preparation for the student agency accreditation to IPRA, IPAD, done this a couple of months, just bringing back to the board for things that may have already been reviewed by the board that just need to go into the general practice manual. This is another one. I get discussion out there is an environmental scorecard review. The Illinois Parks and Recreation Association gives their members an opportunity to go online and fill out an environmental assessment and kind of determine our impact, our stewardship of the agency. We scored a 63 on that. 77.
Out of 73.
Well, 63%. That's, yeah. Sorry. They rate us as if we're doing pretty good. Obviously, more is done. So we wanted to present that to the board so that they can see that and looking over at any questions that they may have. That goes to the environmental policy. We have established policies and procedures within how we operate as a business when it comes to recycling, material, things that we utilize into our business. And that is also in there as part of that package. Continues to be part of the general practice manual. And then there's the closed session policy, which you guys did back in June of last year. You approved it. This is one of those things that needs to be part of the manual was on. Then the Code of Ethics, which was done back in February of 2015. Again, I know that was a topic that lasted quite a while, but I think that you guys ironed out all your concerns. And that too just needs to be put in the manual. And then our attorney, Jim Rock, is trying some minor grammar punctuation and clarification in the entire manual.
Yeah, because I don't have something, I might as well second right now and take something out of the way. It's on the 22nd page of our package. It's the proposed revisions to the board manual policy. Just there's 1 page of the policy manual that will be changed. And that's on the 22nd page.
The 22nd page?
Yeah, I'm talking about 5.3. It's not a provision we're discussing changing, but I'm noticing some problematic language. Second sentence of 5.3, or actually first and second sentence of 5.3. First sentence says the board shall refrain from lengthy discussion. I think it should be refrain.
Yeah.
Come before it at record. And then second sentence, discussion instruction. How do we should detailed discussion?
Or just given discussion.
Well, just the words retain and detain, I think should be changed to
Okay,
reframe
reframe.
in detail. That's the first and second.
Gotcha.
First and second. Yeah, so we just need to, board approval to put those in the general practices manual.
Can I ask you a couple questions about the environmental report card
Sure.
and the environmental policy? And actually some things about the first, the environmental report card, it says either the card itself or the agency letter said something about, no, it was the card. It asked the question, the card asked the question, whether we assign staff to review environmental policies and how often. And I don't know if that's the exact language, but I'm reading it and I'm wondering, do we have dedicated staff members?
We don't have like an environmental committee at this point, but that's something that we could come around to actually doing. But anytime, it's the board's general practice manual, so at any time, if they felt that we needed to review that, we could certainly do that.
I'm not necessarily asking about the management policy itself, or how we implement it. Do we have a go-to person to review stuff such as risk management or something like that?
Well, risk management would go to Laura Key,
Yeah.
just because of that, but that's not attached to the environmental thing. I mean, they kind of overlaps a few different departments.
Yeah.
Because Greg's Parks and Facilities, where you see a lot of, some environmental things in there, Marty's business services, so there's some overlap. At this point, I think what we could probably do to at least give you some direction is it ultimately falls on me to be able to look at it, approve it, or if we need to just set up that environment.
I'm wondering, because there's a lot of room for improvement. 63% might be passing, but I mean, I view it as a B, and I'd like an A. I'd like to be in that 90 percentile and work toward that. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think A is something that me personally I like. So I'm wondering what we can do
Well,
to get it fixed.
if that's both, I know you sit on the environmental board for the village, so if that is a goal for the board, for us to improve our score, we can certainly do that. We'll probably take smaller steps.
I figured this would be a good place to start a conversation.
I mean, with like maybe quarterly meetings, when you have department meetings, quarterly, mention, ask them to have review within their department, what kind of environmental stuff is happening, what kind of chemicals or things are used, or we have manual in place, we have something, and then, like, not that you have to be every month or every week, but quarterly, or every twice a year or something, just to have people keep an eye on things.
Yeah,
And
certainly.
bring it to them, maybe bring it to your attention at one time, instead of piecemeal.
Yeah, I just figured this is the perfect time to start talking about this.
No, I think that's the great, a lot of the stuff in here is stuff that we can certainly be doing with the planning, the open space preservation, the programming, all that thing that we could kind of, do a lot better. And I will say that, I filled this out, and a lot of times if I didn't think that, there could be times where we're doing stuff and I'm just not aware of it. So, when we sit down with all the department heads and share the information and say, here's what we're doing, and it's the way that I see it. And we need to work on improving those things.
What I will say is, when I'm doing my head, tell people to come to our meetings and express what kind of chemicals are used at the park district, and go in to the park district and ask if that's different, but, government body. So people do get concerned about it, so I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grant is relating to that. I know that it's a hot topic, pesticides and herbicides, and we have all that information that's available with Greg and the Parks Department. So if anybody did inquire about that, we can certainly have that available.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know it would be something to you.
Yeah, I'm just.
But yeah, this would be something that we would take when we go into either strategic planning and or when we just go into budgeting, because a lot of ways to improve that score is to
Well, yeah, it
The budget
said,
impact on-
does your agency dedicate operating budgets to this?
Right.
Does your agency dedicate capital budget funds to this? So there was some language in there in this packet about should be developing strategies, is what I wrote down. So yeah, I didn't want this to just let this go by the wayside here for everyone to start a conversation about what strategies we have to do in mentions from Pete Flynn or anything that you said.
No, because we just did this, what, Friday?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the first time we've seen that.
Yeah. So to, take this back and let everybody kind of look at it, put that into that. And then again, this is also a philosophical approach for the board. This is the direction that we want to do. That's something that we need to hear from you so that we can really turn those into action items to kind of correct what we have notes in the shift.
Well, I mean, my view personally is I think environmental stewardship is important. I don't think anyone in the community feels that way. And secondly, it is a bit of a justice thing. I mean, we have regulations in the world, not highway law, but it's terrible when everybody else has to run. There are vulnerabilities that the governments are perhaps being more aggressive than what we are in implementing environmentally friendly things. Door garden out front, because everybody else is doing it. So, I have additional concerns about just keeping up with standards as far as our neighbors.
Yeah, so, what we'll do is, again, we'll just meet as department heads and share the information. Whether we pick up some of the local issues that we can, start doing right away and look at some of the bigger items that I think there's some time to implement or get started.
Yeah. It's, I have a little bit of a more specific question on environmental policy, more policy, says something about how that policy
Fred, you can probably do most of that purchasing.
Yeah, we do try to get
Yeah, I think.
lighting's often changed in this building. We have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, in addition to the environmental points I already made, I've always been a stickler on following our own policies, no matter what that policy is. And I'm seeing items in the Mortonville policy about investigating the alternatives to toxins, but also integrated pest management programs and doing environmental impact considerations for the design process of building facilities and parks. I know we do things short of building new facilities, remodeling facilities such as field houses, things like that. I'm wondering if we are in fact doing environmental impact assessments when we undertake remodeling projects and facilities.
Not having had one of those projects, I can't speak to that, but if you just walk around to the field houses, the pools, or even this building, a lot of the lights are on photocell, so they turn off automatically. Just trying to think of some of the other things. I know that when it comes comes to purchasing green products for clean, we can certainly look into that. But again, just want to stress that that would have a budgetary impact, just because those are typically going to be a little bit more expensive. So, looking at different things, I think one of the best things about just going through the distinguished agency as well as doing this report card is to really kind of highlight what we aren't doing so that we can all sort of be reminded of what we need to be able, what we should be able to do. There's been last few years some turnover, so having some consistency to be able to everyone just sit at the same table with the departments and say how we're well, and sort of
I just, what, I do want to go to that one question, we can leave this item that we're on. Sure.
Marty,
Who's the ethics advisor?
who's the ethics advisor? Is that you, Morton?
So let's go to somebody else. Okay, let's go to that second item.
Great, yeah, so, just a real quick backstory on this. Back in February, March, we were talking to the farmers market about the upcoming season. One of the things that they wanted clarification on was rules. And one of those rules was people coming in and passing out literature, political literature, and things like that. Well, they will not comfortable with a total ban on it. So other farmers market farmers market to 3 zones. We'll be looking put everything over on the village side, and like, look, that has nothing to do with the park district. If that's where you put that stuff, that's that's between you and the village. Well, another incident kind of happened, which kind of determined that these free speech areas are not on village property, but they are on the park district side of the parking lot. So I immediately contacted Jim Rock, the attorney, and said, I need some advice. What are we going to be able to do? And that is the policy that they've sort of given us, in the supporting documents and in the changes that we would need to be able to make to our general use regulations, as far as regulation of personal conduct and regulation of vending and advertising. So, any questions?
Yeah, could you, what were the facts that had to proceed? You said people were passing out pamphlets and circulating petitions.
Yeah, over the years, that people would come through the market, pass out literature, ask people to sign petitions, and wanting to be a good partner with the park district, because it's on our property, but it's the chamber's market. They wanted to know exactly, and this is a political year, they wanted to make sure that they were adhering to whatever rules that we had in place, because they wanted something to fall back on. If they had to tell somebody, you can't be here.
I got it. Well, so what else was perceived, what activity was perceived as a problem besides passing out? That's correct.
Not to my knowledge.
Well, I reviewed the memo and the draft this legislation, I don't know how they lose. I'll start by saying the analysis that we can allow people to speak or enable people to speak turns First Amendment analysis on its head. Okay, every part is a First Amendment zone unless government has the authority to regulate that speech. Everywhere is a free speech zone. All speech is protected speech unless the government has some sort of reason that they can regulate. And even if they regulate, it needs to be as narrow as possible. There needs to be compelling interest behind that regulation. I read the memo that Councilman Flynn submitted in support of this legislation, and there's a number of problems. I'll start by just conveying my interpretation of the draft legislation, and that's if you're soliciting votes, you don't even have to be passing out literature. There is some language in there about soliciting funds, but the legislation is very broad. It also covers soliciting votes or circulating petitions. I'm going to ask, can you take 3 pages and pass it down? I have some problems with the link memo, and these materials that I'm passing out support my position, which criticizes the memorandum. The Ansel and Blink memo says that the forum analysis is crucial, that how much power the government has in restricting speech depends on the nature of the forum. And that is a relatively correct statement. I should add that in various forms, a content-based regulation is strictly scrutinized. That's true in a public forum or a limited forum. So I'm not sure how much distinction between whether the farmer's market is a traditional public forum or a limited public forum. I'm not sure how much that's relevant because the legislation is content-based anyway, and it's going to be strictly scrutinized no matter the character of the forum. Okay? Secondly, the memo states that if somebody's soliciting votes, then the regulation applies to them. Yes or no? Soliciting votes is.
You can't solicit votes in the middle of a building.
Can I get your vote?
Not in the middle of a building, you can walk on the building.
Maybe you can sit in the stands and ask somebody for their vote. This is a content-based regulation.
Well, we tweaked your section 11. That was what the end result was. We tweaked the conduct and the purpose.
The regulate the shared
policy here, we tweaked the conduct and the purpose.
right, which is there was a whole section in there that I think you put it as 11, but I put it at the back end, so 17.
It was your existing one with a couple of tweaks. But I thought that was the policy update.
I'm talking about attachment A, chapter 6, section 17, charitable, religious, political, and non-profit entities. Now, I would say that the farmer's market is a park and it's a traditional form, even if it's a limited form. It's a content-based regulation that's still going to be strictly scrutinized. Even if the conclusion that the farmer's market is a limited form, even if that were relevant, the memo I received never goes to analyze or inquire whether or not the farmer's market is a limited form. The memo opens by saying that it's completely relevant to examine the nature of the form, and then the memo itself never examines farmer's market to determine whether it's public forum or limited forum. The memo merely states that the government can regulate speech in a limited form and then just assumes the farmer's market is a limited form without examining whether or not that the farmer's market is a limited form. Second, let me go to the memo and quote the exact language. There's an incorrect statement of law in the first and that is In other words, the government may engage in reasonable and viewpoint-neutral, content-based discrimination to define the limited range of subjects discussed in the forum to preserve those limitations established. Viewpoint-neutral regulations are the worst type of content-based regulations, but they're not the only type of content-based regulations. Regulation, it can be viewpoint-neutral or content-based and still strictly scrutinized. And one of the cases you cite says that. It's the only 21st century case cited in the memorandum, and that's Summum. And what I passed from Summum explains that that content-based regulation, whether or not it's viewpoint discriminatory, is strictly scrutinized. So I have a serious problem with the board relying. I mean, if the board doesn't want to listen to me when I say this is a content-based regulation over political speech in public forum that would be strictly scrutinized.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Matthew, what are you talking about content-based?
Okay, content-based. If the law enforcement official, the person who's applying the regulation, has to listen to what somebody says in order to determine whether or not the law applies, it's right, it's in the yellow, then that law is content-based and strictly scrutinized. The case you're holding is a 2014 case called McCullough-Copeland, involved buffer zones around the abortion clinics. And the abortion clinic said, well, we need to conduct our business, we can't have people congregating in front of the doors. The Supreme Court analyzed the buffer zone as a content-neutral regulation because they said if you're standing in the zone, it doesn't matter whether you're talking or not. You just can't stand in the zone. So they said it's content-neutral, but still incidental, it's even a content-neutral regulation that affects speech will still be reviewed at a higher standard. So not quite strict, no lower than strict, intermediate, but still a tough test to overcome. And they voted 9-0 to invalidate the buffer zone. They said it just placed too much restriction on speech. The government couldn't justify it. It was too broadly tailored. Significantly, for our purpose, there's other, in a lot of these cases, First Amendment cases, there's other laws that are more content neutral. If there's laws that apply no matter what people are saying that you can enforce, that weighs against the validity of the content. Here, we can.
What you're saying to me, would be commonly classified argument?
Yeah,
I actually don't disagree with it. This is the first time I've seen attachment A, because I was in the email. See, Jim, the First Amendment permit is a tweet. I agree with him. Now that I'm reading section 17, this is content based on pure core political speech. You have, when it comes to, let's take nobody was asked to review, at least I wasn't. My view was that the farmers market, we lost our jurisdiction over whether they were public forum or not when we released it, rented it, or permitted it to the chamber. And then it was their job to say whether or not they were going to speak. It's they have a permit to use the space. That's up to them.
They are strictly a non-political, non-profit organization.
Well, and that's fine.
So you're saying they should be regulated.
It's their space. When you issue a permit for space, it's their space.
Okay.
Right now, I think we agree that we get time, place, and manner so that you can't interrupt a Little League meeting by marching through. That's why we ask for permits about using our spaces. The fact is, though, that I agree with them that somebody can stand on the sidewalk during a Little League game and ask people going in and out of the game for their vote, or to raise or even play the violin with an open violin case. The cases have become that you can't even regulate that if they're on public property, but they're not actually soliciting money. The open violin case isn't actually a solicitation. So I wouldn't do section 17. The tweaks to your conduct in the park, I think, is appropriate, where you're trying to say we get to regulate dispute between people. So if we've got an organized group coming in, use a park to do a demonstration, to hold a rally, to do whatever, we need to make sure that we're not going to have a competing group using the same space for whatever purpose. But the idea that, and there's even now a Seventh Circuit case that expands the prohibition on content-related restrictions, claiming that even realty signs, this is
Yeah, you're talking about repeal.
Yeah, right. That even, they went further to say this is about content or not. So when it comes to the First Amendment, the small little tweaks we made to your section 11, Jeff, that you sent, and that was your suggestion, I thought those were fine. This section 17, I agree, I think this is too content specific. We call these things out.
You can,
that's fine. I
Because
guess
you
that
can
here's-
pass out a petition to ban abortion, but you can't pass out a
Yeah.
petition for Republican.
That being said,
Or-
however, you can designate within your parks particular places as free speech pavilions where you don't need a permit, but that's where the activity is confined to, so that the park can serve its purpose for the larger general public. So, people with trails, downtown walkways, river walks, have designated places for the free speech activities without a permit, so that other people can use the walk. And that's withstood scrutiny, as long as there are alternatives, if the other place is packed, but there's an alternative place. You don't have to subject your entire park to be an open forum for all purposes at any time.
I want to play, I didn't read this and do a bunch of research. I went to LLM after law school. My LLM thesis is on content-based regulations. So, pretty well read in this stuff. I would say, based on, I've read hundreds of cases multiple times, and I'm thinking that that legislation has more, it can't be content-based and a time, place, and manner at the same. I mean, if it's content-based, it's
That's why
content-based.
section 11 talks about activity. Doesn't even talk about what the activity, it talks about activity period.
Okay, so
I think we
obviously,
need to regulate the activity, like the actual passing out of leaflets or the actual picketing. But I wouldn't specify that picketing based on an election or there's no picketing.
here's what I suggest that we do. Let's just,
Like, you can't specify the subjects. I mean, there was a case
Right.
of Kerry v. Brown in 1980, where the ordinance was no.
No,
so here, well, let's do this.
This is what
Let
I'm
me,
talking
I've already time explaining it in English.
no, here, obviously, it would be best, let's just not table this. Let's just hold off on this. Let me have an opportunity to talk to either Derek or Jim and say, okay, obviously, something, I must have done something wrong here, maybe, I'm not sure. So let me have an opportunity to talk to Jim and figure out how we could tweak this to satisfy everybody's and bring it back at another time.
Right.
Right now, we're just,
These are good, but I do want to, before we go, to make sure we're all on the same page about this. When it comes to the sale of goods, that's a commercial speech, gets lighter scrutiny. And so, did you have a problem with attachment B? Because I'm looking at this
Yeah, is
attachment
that
B.
the one, this is the
Then
part
you
where it
have
says
it-
bickering? Is that the one where it talks about, bickering? I mean, that's kind of archaic.
well, that's part of the general use regulation. That's bigger.
Sometimes these regulations lay around for
I
a while.
know.
And
That's
that
why
doesn't
we're-
mean they're,
right,
Yeah,
they're up to snuff.
famously, there are regulations that prevent the use of the word saloon.
Right.
So,
Sure.
yeah, that needs to be updated. But in general, I want to make sure we're philosophically on the same page. When it comes to use of public lands for commercial purposes, you have a much broader ability to curb that. For example, it's become fashionable for yoga instructors to take over a park in the morning, get paid by people to run yoga classes in your park. They don't have any overhead, they're competing with brick and mortar businesses in the community, and they're doing so subsidized essentially by the taxpayer, even though they're not part of your program. You're allowed to regulate that, even though they're saying, all I'm doing is asking people to join me and to make a contribution if they want. No, the law is clear about use of public lands for commercial purposes or asking to raise money. That's the, as you mentioned, the violin case. The court was key to say, help appreciated, there was no sign, just an open case, and they said that's not really soliciting. But real solicitation would be covered. So these good, we'll tweak it, we'll bring it back and tweak it. But when it comes to the farmer's market, again, yes, it's their space. They get to decide. Most of the rental policies we have, or whenever you do a big festival and you rent your space out to somebody else, they have to decide where they're going to bring their business. There's definitely private ask the ordinance.
I think it's a good opportunity. Dan, thank you for your expertise. Like the board, with your expertise, it's been historical.
I wish I could put it plainly.
But I think the board has a decision to make. I think it's important that the board knows what decision they want to make. Do we, in fact, as a board, want to have some control over political activity on park property and park facilities? I personally think we do.
I don't think it's worth the expense or the risk or the trouble.
Do you think we should have some control over what actually goes on politically in the park? Well, I know they do it in the village.
I'm just saying that.
Right.
I mentioned,
Mark, I'm waiting for Mark. You know you're again.
can I add something else? It's more, usually in the first half of a Supreme Court opinion, we talk about law, a lot of times in the
I don't
back.
want to argue law right now. I'm trying
I'm
to
going
get
to talk about policies.
I'm trying to get a consensus from the board so that they can go
I
back.
still don't understand why it's a problem. People passing out leaflets, asking for people's
It's not,
votes.
again, you're one of five. We need a consensus if we want to do this, if we don't want to do this, and how we want to structure it. Just don't send these guys back to go spend money in legal fees.
That's another
without-
reason I don't- I'm
Without,
against
without knowing what the board's pleasure is, okay? That's where I'm going. I know where you're coming from, okay? And I appreciate it. You've had long enough conversations with me on this, and it's fascinating. But I think we need to prohibit things that happen on the park property.
So, okay, in other words, the farmer's market is changing organization. So we have no control of it.
Well, you will if you change the lease agreement in the future, if we decide what we want to do, if we want to say, our policies are going to override your policy when you rent. Yes, exactly. Right. This is what I'm talking about. There's a lot going on here, and I want to cut to the chase. You can adjust to what we want to do. If it was up to me, personally, I would say no political signs even on election day. I would say no circulating of petitions. I would say all those things because a lot of communities are doing that. Because what happens is the maintenance guy's got to go out the next day and pick up the mess because nobody picks up. We don't even find people which way are entitled to if they put a sign up and don't pick it up there 24 hours after you left. We are entitled to do that, are we not?
No.
No? But we are entitled to say no political signs posted anywhere on our property.
No. Not if,
How do-
not if any of your properties are a polling place. I don't know if they are.
They are.
They are.
But
Then the state statute says that there is a time, signs can be placed outside the electioneering limit. You have to allow that. That's the state statute. And in the constitutional hierarchy, that's.
okay, but then we can follow the exact law and say those signs would have to be a minimum of 100 feet or 150 feet.
Yes, that's the electioneering.
Okay, all right. Then this board needs to they can say that we want to enforce our laws on the staff, because we've never done that, have we, Greg?
During election
That
time,
makes you
that's
what?
up to the election judge to enforce it.
That's on the one hand.
Okay, you've been through that a lot, that does a lot of good, huh?
On the other hand.
I don't know, my husband's had the state's attorney call.
On the
back
other
and
hand, we're
standing
90
up
days,
for it, so-
96 days from the presidential election. Your ban on political speech on your property prevents signs now from being on it. That you're entitled to do. People don't get to put their signs in the public way without consent, without permission, not in villages, not anything. Okay, now, but that, you have to be banning all signs, not just political signs. That's the point of this recent effort. So, and you do. You don't permit any signs for weed cutting, for roofing, for storm chasers. You permit no signs. That kind of thing is acceptable because it goes with your mission of what you
Want to fine them if they violate?
You can have an ordinance which has to be enforced by other law enforcement officials in your village, and you can seek a fine, but mostly it's remove the sign.
There's also practical considerations. Passing or banning all signs, and somebody might want to challenge it.
Yeah,
That
that should be,
makes
I
it
think
tight.
that'd be okay. On a ban of all signs, I think you're okay. It's when you say, oh, real estate signs only for 10 days, political signs only for 30, now you, on 10 feet, that's what he's saying. So, what we're not doing, we're banning all signs in our parks other than our own sign. We speak, we get to do whatever we want. Okay? Now, your policies are going to be whatever they are, you want to make them constitutional, and then you adopt them as part of your rental agreements with, in this case, the chamber, for the farmer's market. You gotta follow our thing. Forum analysis is the key to this. But the forum analysis is like being, you're either a virgin territory or you're not. Once you've become a political forum or a speech forum of any kind, it's open to everybody. All you're doing now is trying to coordinate when they can do it so that we don't have conflict of interest. So I would dare say the middle of the Little League field has never been a public forum, unless people have rented it and held a rally on it or something.
Well, how do we designate those areas? Do we have to have?
That's the next question for you as a board. Are there parks where you feel you need to set